Do you have some favorite submissions that you think have like a good learning curve or something that are effective and easily assimilated for like actually integrating into a high pressure situation that you could actually execute on it?
I still think leg locks, if you want to attack the legs, is still a thing most people are terrified of. So they get that panic response when someone's attacking their legs,
Hmm.
and it's still generally not taught till the upper belt. So it's like if you were to take a beginner and teach him some leg locks, I think you'd probably have the sharpest return on your investment of time. But will it make you a better grappler overall? You still need to develop a well balanced game. So it's
Right.
like it's hard to explain in terms of submissions. I think like the best way to submit someone is to get them tired, and then they kind of
Right.
quitting and gifting you something. But it might look like a very technical setup, but your ability to fatigue your opponent to a point where they have nothing left is still going to be the best path to submission, where you're basically taking what they give you.
How about like a tiers list? So like if you have a guy who's fatigued, what are the three easiest submissions to hit versus the three hardest? Because like you see in movies, stuff happen all the time. You see these
Oh
crazy
yeah,
like
yeah.
flying arm bars, and obviously it's probably almost impossible to hit some of these things you see in some like the, cinematic stuff. Like, what do you think would be like three top ones you should know and three ones that maybe have been hyped but are kind of shitty?
Oh yeah, I mean, if the guy's already tired, like just presuming he's tired, you've passed and you're in mount position here. Like I think just applying so much pressure to them that they want to give you the back. Like in MMA, guys will throw some strikes. The guy doesn't want to get hit. He turns over, he gives up the back, presents the back, and then you've got
Hmm.
the best submission there would be like a rear naked. I think any submission that keeps you in top position. So for jiu-jitsu, like an arm triangle, or still applying so much sort of smothering pressure that they want to turn, that's nothing will ever beat that, just remaining in top. If you've got a guy tired, he might give you an arm, but he will have good enough armbar defense to maybe take a pop and then you end up on bottom. Or if you go for a triangle from mount, you might end up on bottom. So risk reward, that's a big risk. In MMA, guys go less for those submissions because the risk is greater. If they're in top, they go for an armbar, end up on bottom. Now they can get punched in the head. At
Hmm.
least in jiu-jitsu, guys will do that more because worst case scenario, oh, we're in bottom.
Right.
What's the worst that could happen? So tier list. I mean, if we're talking about submission tier list, what is your end game? You know, if your end game is to humiliate your opponent, then there'll be a class of submissions that you know, like you're really gonna,
Sure.
it's gonna bother them to get hit
Let's
with.
just say you want to win a competition. Like, what do you think are the ones you should master first? And then the ones that are probably, you're almost never going to get in a position to hit this. And even
Whoa.
if you would, it's like very unlikely to work.
I mean, buggy choke it's effective, but it is kind of a crazy one, and it's one that if you got them, they'd be really pissed off in competition. But it's a high risk, high reward sort of move. Heel hooks would still, I mean, it changes over time because it's like someone will introduce a new submission or they'll repopularize something, and then it has an incredible success rate because people aren't prepared for it.
Right.
And then over years of it happening, now people start to understand that and it kind of falls out of favor. So it kind of goes through waves of popularity. Oftentimes it'll be an old move that's repopularized that a generation thinks, oh, it's a new thing. So it goes through it goes through cycles, I would say, of popularity of submissions. And it's what people are least prepared for will have the best success. And that's kind of where the instructional market comes in. You're selling something that has value at the time because people don't remember it or don't understand it.
If I wanted to see the craziest submission you've ever hit, what would I type in?
It would be me against Vinny Margalesh because so this guy was a guy that was notorious for not getting leg locked. And he
Yeah.
used to say heel hooks don't work. And I had a match with him, put him in a heel hook, and he had a spiral fracture of his fibula and his ankle completely dislocated from his leg within
Oof.
like I think 30 seconds. He
Jesus.
didn't even have time to really tap. He just let his leg snap straight away. That's the most disturbing. And he doesn't tap, and it does a full 360.
Oh.
And I could see his bone poking into his skin like I was about to poke out. So that's probably the most disturbing one. Also the most like
Yeah, does it fuck with you? Seeing that kind of thing?
kind of, but it's almost like it's like what's wrong with you? Well, like why are you doing that? Why
Hmm.
would you do that? Like who cares? But just tap, you know.
Right.
Why would you make you do this to me? Like why would you make me do this to you?
Yeah.